Hello, so in this video we are going to be about click-through rates, how click-through rates, right, is a very important metrics, right, both for you as an SEO and both for you as a client. Now, from the SEO point or the digital marketing creative point, right, how you're also going to be able to interpret click-through rates, right, to your client, to your business partner, or to your agency you work with, showing the proof that click-through rate is really affecting and contributing into the marketing effort as an SEO specialist, as a content writer, as a content marketer, right? Because click-through rate is very important, and I consider it a valid metric. Right now, PS, I know I've said we are in the zero click era, which is now is very difficult to get more clicks, right, because of AI overviews, right? And I saw a post where I think Google is trying to show us how AI is contributing to our website on the search engine, on the search console, but that is still, I mean, it's not yet valid. But since we're seeing the click-through rate here, I'm going to be explaining how CTR works, like the click-through rate works, what affects your click-through rate, and I'm going to be using my project Relink R as a case study, right? So you could see how it has been performing and things I did, right, to improve my click-through rate. Before, my click-through rate on an average, right, was 0.9, 0.8. I was struggling, right, to get visitors into my website from Google, right? I was getting the impressions, right, but the click-through rate was not just there, right, until I did some changes, right, on my website, right? And this is what I'm going to be walking you through. Now, inside our academy here, right, we have practice sandbox to show you what click-through rate looks like, how the two important factors we are going to be breaking down looks like, right, and how it really affects your click-through rate. Now, if you look at this place here, it shows CTR potential, right? So it means these two factors, which I'm going to be explaining in the real soon, is very important. Now, there are three factors, right, that affect your click-through rate, right? Four factors, but three factors that affect your click-through rate. Now, your title tag, your meta description, and your page speed. Now, we also have URL structure, right? But I mean, technically, your URL should not be so long. That you should know. But your meta title and your meta description really affect, right? So the meta title and the meta description describes how and what your website, what that page is all about, right, on a summary. Right, so if you look at my meta description here, it says best gym, right? Best gym in Port Harcourt 2026 with price and location from Garrison to LLM. The top gyms in Port Harcourt reviewed by location, monthly price and equipment quality, and open hours updated for 2026. Right, so what this page is talking about is talking about the best gyms in Port Harcourt with prices. Now, if you look here, you notice that my pages, the links are not broken and the meta description is not broken. If I can see this on Google, I'm going to be showing you what it looks like, right? So if you look here, right, okay, let me make this search. Best gyms. I'm going to make this search Belgium Port Harcourt. I'm going to do the exact match here, so I'll give you a clear explanation on what click-through rate looks like exactly. All right, so now two things about Google that happens, two things about Google that you also need to know, right? Google overrides your meta description most times if they feel it's not valid, right? Google overrides your meta description if they feel it's not valid. Because if I click on this page here, you're going to see that my meta description says this, and Google is bringing out this for me, right? But that not be the case, right? What we're trying to achieve click-through rate, right? And best, we want to make sure that we've done our own part by doing our own page, our meta description and title tags very well. Now, the next thing that you also want to now consider is you want to consider how fast your website is loading, right? How fast is your website loading? So here's what I mean, right? So if a user clicks here, right, if a user clicks on this, right, it should open almost immediately, because a user doesn't want to wait 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, right, for your website to load and load completely, right? So these are the three things that I had to change, right, to help me out. Now, this is something I did, right, that I would also want you to do if you're having issues with your click-through rate, right? Now, you want to export your console data, right, or search console data. If you see here in my 3 months, I have over a 1% click-through rate, right? And before, in my 3 months, I was getting like about 0.7, 0.8 until I did this thing, right? I exported my search console data, right, and exported it as a CSV file, right, and I sent it to Claude, and I made some prompts, right, which I'm going to be making available for you. If you need it, just send me a DM, right, or comment the word prompt and I'm going to send it for you, right? I made a prompt that Claude gave me a detailed explanation on what my current stat is, the opportunities are, and how to change my click-through rate and how to improve my click-through rates. And these changes I made, right, I made these changes last day, and I started seeing the difference, right? Because if you look at my 3 months here, if you see on my average click-through rate, you see my average click-through rate changed from somewhere around here. It started changing, right? Which the point we're trying to make here is, now you want to do your own part very, 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 very well. Even though we are in the no-click era, where AI overviews take almost half of the traffic that is coming in, right? No more clicks, right? But you always want to do your best, because when I check my analytics, right, I still see traffic from Google search, and I still see traffic from ChatGPT, I still see traffic from business. So it means users are still clicking on blue links, right? But it's not just the way they have been clicking before, right? Now, if you want to learn more about how to build SEO systems, how to build a content marketing strategy, how to be better in SEO, right, we have our SEO Academy running up, right? And inside our academy, we're going to be teaching you how SEO works and SEO in 2026 and moving forward, and giving you also real-time practice sandbox like this, right, to implement and to see how everything works together. And we have also amazing sections, right, where after the programs, after the courses, right, you have blueprint walkthrough sections, right, that you can start working on, right? Now, to get access, I use the link in my bio to join the next cohort, and I'm going to see you in the next one. Cheers.